Hello and welcome back to the channel. So today this video is for the beginners, those who just started making end grain targets. There are plenty of construction methods and plenty of ideas. This is just a couple of general keep in mind kind of things. Okay, so I have been experimenting with construction methods. I narrowed it down to two of my favorite. One is the pressure fit, when there is a threaded rod between, how far can I go back, between two frames. And there is other is the glued method. I have made a video, actually I made a 4-part video on how I make my glued targets. Now I have to say I cut all my blocks at 97 millimeters depth, because that's 100 millimeter minus the saw blade thickness. And what I do is when I cut, I don't really count, I just cut a whole bunch and then I puzzle it out, so I always have some leftovers. But because they all the same depth, I can use the leftovers later, at a later date, because no target will last forever. So I have to make somewhere between two or three, sometimes only one a year, but at least 2 or 3 a year of end grain targets for my no spin throwing knives. Okay, if you throw at tomahawks or heavy rotational knives, you will be making even more, or invest in low grounds. So what happened here is so this was the original target face, which is now the other side. One of the other reasons I make them 100 mil, I have experimented with 150 mil, which is like 6 inches deeper. But what I found is once it starts to split down to about 60-70 mil, I don't like the target anymore. And because this is all reclaimed timber, dispatch pellets, the timber is basically free or next to free. So I'd rather make a new target than put up with a deep crater in it. So that's why the 100 mil seems to be working for me. Now, what happened? It's got down to about 40 mil, 30-40 mil of getting chewed up, and some of the blocks, as this one for example, had splits in them as well. Now while the frame was tight, it was quite nicely holding together, so I figured before it wears down even more, because there's one thing you have to keep in mind is the target, once it wears down to about this, from here on is going to be wearing out even faster. So it's not a straight line in the target's life. I know this is useless information, but it is what it is. And if there's a deep donut, you can't turn a target around. You can't use the backside as a fresh face. So I figured before I get to that point, I turn it around, and it's gonna be a quick, just unscrew the backing plate from the frame, turn it around and rescrew, and we're happy to go. Now it didn't work out that way because I forgot that I use 2nd or 3rd grade timber, which means there are full of knots. Okay, so when I set up my target, I always make sure that the least knots on the target face. So all these knots are on the back for 2 reasons. One is these are very hard, so a knife won't stick into it. Second reason, as you'll see here, when the knot get pushed out, it will leave a gash or a gap in the target face. So once I unscrewed the backing plates, the target was full of knots. Ugh. Okay, so I undone the frames, undone the frame on the threaded rod, and the whole thing fell apart, or the broken blocks. I have about 8, but because I had these blocks, I puzzled it back up together to best of my ability. Now sometimes I had to use, this was used to be the target face, but it's not too worn. This used to be the target face. There is one here, 2 here. So overall it's not looking too bad. All I gotta do is turn it around, screw a backing plate on it, and then I'm going to use some of this scrap, like this piece, and all these ugly big gaps here. Just going to, this is even too small for this, find the right pieces and wedge it in here once I have a back plate on it, and just basically fill up these gaps, like for example here, fill it up, smack it in with a hammer, and that will be just fine. Once I start using the target, once this block starts to be worn out, you won't even see the gaps anymore. So that's the filler. So yeah, and then I will have a fresh target face. Yep. And then all I have to do is paint it up and hang it back up on the frame. So anyway, once that happens, I'll make a video of breaking in the new target. Anyway, thanks for watching.